We're off to an underwater adventure. Join us as we head out to do some snorkeling in Belize. Hey folks, welcome to the Down the Road Travel Channel. My name is Will Van Winkle. While we were in Belize, we went on our very first snorkeling adventure. And what a better place to do it than there in the beautiful waters of the Caribbean Sea and the second largest barrier reef in the world, the largest barrier reef in the Western Hemisphere. We scheduled the full day, 7-stop tour by Salt Life Eco Tours, doing so through getyourguide.com. It's a German company that I was already familiar with, so I felt very comfortable using that company. And I've got a link to it in the description as well as right here on your screen, as you can see. It was a little bit more expensive than the one we originally had planned on taking, but that was only a 4-stop tour, and they said they were sold out for April 18th. We tried booking this back on January 20th, so it might be best to book your tour as soon as possible to make sure you get the one you want, and make sure you bring a towel, reef safe sunscreen, probably a t-shirt of some kind to cover up with. Snorkel gear is included in your rental, but if you wear glasses, you may want to order a prescription face mask because you don't want to miss these sites. And you can get one at the Get Wet store like my wife Dana did. She was so excited when she got it. She was actually worried because it was pretty inexpensive. She was a little worried that it wasn't going to work. She put it on. She was so excited that she could see very clearly, and she didn't have to worry about contacts or anything else. She just slipped the mask on and be good to go and see everything in the water. I've included links to that as well as some Amazon links, some affiliate links that may help you with products for your trip. Salt Life Eco Tours offers water, rum punch, lunch. They record with a GoPro camera, and they'll send those files from that to your email after your trip. This is all included in this amazing tour with stops in an area where manatees are commonly found, Shark Ray Alley, Hole Chan Marine Reserve. You'll stop to see a shipwreck, coral gardens, and it's just so much more. Keep in mind now, the marine life, it is wildlife, and this is their natural habitat. So migratory patterns may mean you may not see everything you want, and this is in no way controlled by the tour provider or guide. Although ours took us to every spot they knew of where manatees hang out, we did not see any manatees on our boat. Another boat that day did, so I've still got video of the manatees. And, I've seen them in Florida, so, no big deal to me. The tour operator boasts environmentally friendly ways of seeing these areas. According to their website, saltlifeecotours.com, they carry no disposable plastics, and they did not. They give back to the community to green projects, and they try to educate guests so that they leave with a deeper understanding and better respect for the environment, all in an effort to make sure the reef and wildlife survives for future generations to enjoy. Our guides were Philip and Jamal, and they were great.
Stand on the reef, those standing on the reef. If you're getting tired, use a life jacket. Or not, you're going to drink a lot of salt water. It's on the house. Alright? No standing today. No touching of the marine life. Guys, eco-friendly, remember, eco-friendly. No touching. If you want to touch something, touch the foot. It's hard at night. Also, no chasing of the marine life. If the turtle want to swim away, hey, let it go. He wants to go away. Alright? You don't need to chase the guy. We're going to see another turtle. Alright? So no chasing. Eco-friendly. Also, no stirring up of the sand. The sand, if you stir up the sand with your flip, your fin, it goes on the coral. And then the beautiful corals will die. So try to stay like floating on the water.
Hole Chan Marine Reserve is located near Ambergris Key and Key Calker, about 4 miles off the coast of mainland Belize. Was established as a marine protected area in 1987 by the government of Belize. As surrounding islands became more developed, fishing grounds began to stretch out. So aside from hurricanes, coral bleaching, and other natural threats, tourism has been the largest danger to the reefs, with visitors numbering around 75,000 visitors per year. So, making this a protected area seemed to be the best way to preserve the second largest barrier reef in the world. The reef is open to the sea beyond Holchan, so aquatic animals come and go with hundreds of species of fish, coral, 5 species of sponge, seagrass, 3 species of sea turtle, and 3 types of marine mammals, all calling this area home at various times of the year. Shark Ray Alley is about a mile south of the Holchan Cut. Here, fishermen used to clean their catches so sharks settled in, as did stingrays and a myriad of other animals. However, visitors are now discouraged from feeding or touching the sea life. While we were on our excursion, I kept getting water in my mask, which I promptly inhaled. So I was only able to do 2 of the swimming stops. Apparently, I have an odd shaped head and a fairly large nose, and I just couldn't get a mask to sit right. So after trying 4 masks, I just finally said, this one's fine, and got on the boat. I almost bought a full face mask on Amazon, but decided against it because the gear was included and I didn't feel like spending the money because I never knew if I don't know if we were ever going to go snorkeling again. Actually, my wife loved it so much. I have a feeling with her prescription goggles, we'll probably be looking for snorkeling spots again in the future. I did decide against that because of that. Now, there was another person in our group that was having trouble with his mask, and he did have one of the full face masks. He said it made everything feel a bit more natural because he was having trouble with his own face mask, as I said. So now I'm looking at that again because if we do another snorkeling trip, I would like to be in the water more than I was on this one. And I've included a link to that in this video description as well. When we left the dock, we headed through the split over to where the tarpon are fed. And while we didn't actually feed them, we did stop, stick our hands out, and we went through the motions. It was fun, but everybody was nervous about being bitten. Now, one of the fish hit my hand kind of hard, but you know, I still have all my fingers.
We don't have to. Oh God, he was huge.
It was shocking how fast they come up at you. Just remember, keep your hands flat. This is how they tell you, if you're actually feeding them, you hold the fish kind of like that. Just keep your hand flat so they don't actually get your fingers. They are fast, so they might get you if you don't heed that advice. But again, it just hit hard. It didn't really hurt or anything, so you'll be fine. From here, they took us around the island, showed us a beach. Now, this beach has 2 names. So if you ask about a nice beach in Key Calker and somebody says private beach, I promise they are not being rude. They are not trying to not give you that information. That is one of the 2 names that is known by, and it seems to be the more common of the 2 names. From here, we headed out to get in the water. We jumped feet first into the beautiful blue waters of the Caribbean Sea. Now, this was obviously to avoid any head injuries because with the coral, the ground under the water is very uneven. You don't know how deep it is. Actually, the second stop, when I jumped out, I hit the ground with my feet. So it is best to go feet first to avoid those head injuries. Immediately, though, I was struck by a sense of wonder. I've been to aquariums thinking, okay, well, this is not going to be much different, right? Now, this was very different, vastly different. Pictures and videos do not do this justice. If you are inclined to do this, I recommend you go do this live. Check the videos so you know what to expect, but you're not going to get anything like the experience until you're there. On our first dive, we saw turtles. We saw schools of fish. Nurse shark. Barracudas. Stingray. That's just the first stop. The second stop was the reef. Now, again, this first stop, it wasn't even the reef, but it was just teeming with marine life. This is also where I inhaled a bunch of water because my mask was leaking. So again, the second stop was the reef. I toughed it out. I got back in the water, even though by now my lungs were a little bit on fire, we'll say. The experience was surreal. Aside from the aquatic life, we glided above scuba divers. Seaweed was a little thick and I had trouble keeping up with my group. But I decided as long as the boat was within sight, I'd be fine. And I really had no trouble aside from shortness of breath from inhaling the seawater, the first stop. After this, we had a short lunch on the boat. I turned mine down because after the second dive and how my chest was feeling, I was afraid to do anything other than drink water, which helped a lot. But I will say it took about 1.5 liters of water before I tasted anything other than salt. So again, careful with that water. You're going to swallow some seawater. That's normal. It'll happen, especially if it's your first time snorkeling or diving. But just be careful. Don't inhale it. You know, it was a reflex action for me. I know better, but it was a reflex action. Next stop was Shark Ray Alley. This was the one that Dana thought she was going to sit out, and I was most looking forward to. Nurse sharks are pretty docile. Just don't chase or antagonize them. Well, I knew I shouldn't get back in the water at this point because I was already having trouble and I was just starting to get past that trouble. So I didn't get back in, but Dana was so excited, she jumped right in with them. I could see sharks from the boat, and I believe most of them probably were in the 10 to 14 foot range. So my wife didn't stay in very long, but my little 5'1" wife was actually out there with 14-foot long sharks. So anybody can do this. At this point, the current's also starting to pick up, making it hard for people to swim too far out. So people were getting back in the boat a little more tired than the first two stops. From here, we went to the cave, then the shipwreck. Now, they'll tell you 2 stories from the shipwreck, and I'll let you guess which is true. Now, this is if you're going on Salt Life Eco Tours and you just happen to have the same captain. I won't spoil the stories, but it's pretty obvious which one's the truth. By now, it was time for a fruit break. And now that I could taste more than just salt, I had a couple of pieces of pineapple, which were so good. Of course, they had rum punch, which I'm still trying to get water into me, so I abstained from that. But Dana and the rest of the adults on the boat seemed to love it. We returned with an empty cooler for the rum punch. There were 2 kids on the boat. One of them was trying to broker a deal with their parents for the rum punch, but it did not go over. So, may happen on your boat, I don't know. After the fruit break, after the rum punch break, we decided to go out again and look for the manatees. Not seeing any, we did go back to the dock. I did forget to mention that Philip told everybody to hold on to hats because we don't go back for hats. Now, this is a direct quote. Immediately after he said that, his hat flew off. And being an eco-friendly tour, we went back for that hat. I don't recommend wearing the hat, but if it falls off, they may go back for it. You just have to ask them. Now, I have to point out that on the booking page, it does say something to the effect that it might not be suitable for people with certain medical conditions, one of which was back pain. I had no idea why until we headed out for sea, and the boat had to have left the water multiple times. There are no padded seats, and the wave jumping did cause several of us to leave our seats for a minute or two. So just be aware of that. This does go, I mean, it's the ocean, you know, the Caribbean Sea. So you're going to be pounded around, and there are no cushions on those seats. So that's why they say if you have a bad back, you may want to stay off this tour. I really have nothing to compare it to give you an idea of what to expect with the wave jumping, we'll call it. But I have included a little bit of video from the trip out. But I didn't take video on the trip back in, which is when the waves were picking up. So it just gives you a little bit of an idea, but not completely accurate. So you'll maybe need to make that decision and think about that before you actually book your trip. This was an amazing adventure. Well worth the money. Even not getting in at every stop, I didn't feel like I missed out on anything because I saw everything I wanted to see on the first couple of stops anyway. Another group did see the manatees, but again, I wasn't even disappointed in that. I've seen them many times in Florida. Again, these images do not do the scenery justice in the least. So if you are so inclined, be sure to book your adventure. And if you're impatient like I was and can't wait for the GoPro footage, there are waterproof phone cases that work very well. I used an old phone just in case of leaks, but no problem. I would say this. The case that I had a little insert tray with suction cups on it. And the phone that was inside the case, the waterproof case, got a little warm because it's in a small enclosed area. Even though it was in water, that water wasn't keeping the phone cool. So when I tried to remove it from the suction cup plate, I just kind of pulled it, and it almost pulled the back of that phone off. So if you're going to get one of those, when you slide it out of the tray, when you slide the tray out of the case, let your phone cool down for a minute or two and then slide it a little bit before you take it off. And that way you won't have that problem of the back separating from the phone because the glue got too hot. I discovered the other tour provider I originally was going to schedule with was simply closed that day that we wanted to go snorkeling, probably for the Easter weekend festivities, but I am so glad they were. It's hard to imagine having had a better time than what was provided by Salt Life Eco Tours. Even with my mask and saltwater inhalation issues, I mean, you know, it's not their fault my nose is big. If you've taken this tour with Salt Life or any other provider, let me know about your experience in the comments below. Remember to check the video description for items that could help make your experience easier. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, like, share. Thanks for watching, and I will see you down the road.
Let's hit the road.